Welcome back to the trail with Mushy the Cowboy Cook. Today we're going to cook a loaf of banana nut bread. Fairly simple. It's an older recipe my mother found, and she cooked it for numerous years, and then I guess when I got out of college I'd gotten it and started cooking it myself. So with that, let's get into the video. Alright, for this banana nut loaf, banana bread is what we called it here at the house, here on the ranch. My mother had found the recipe. She'd bought a cookbook from a neighbor they were doing a fundraiser, and she came across this recipe for banana nut loaf. Everyone liked it and she started making it. That was probably back in the late 60s, maybe early 70s. Been making it ever since. When I got out of college, I started making the same thing. Real easy, just some very ripe bananas, 3 or 4 of them. But what you do is you take a bowl, get you a bowl with the dry ingredients. You need 2 cups of self-rising flour, 1 cup of sugar. I've got half a cup in here now. Here's the other half a cup. You need a teaspoon of cinnamon. I've already got that in there. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And as I put that in, I'll show you my little find. This is an old spice kit I got at a show. A lot of these shows we go to, they'll have antique / junk sellers there. Okay, we came across a real nice couple selling antiques, and I think Cookie, Mosey, and myself each bought a spice kit from her. She had 2 of them they bought, and then when she came back she had to go home and get another one, and they're all a little different. Mine has nutmeg, and we're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. It also came with a little grater. So if you happen to watch Townsend and Sons on YouTube, you know he really likes nutmeg. I think he puts it in just about everything. Well, we have freshly ground nutmeg now. So just scrape it on the grater, tap it a little bit. That's all it is to it. Now, it did have spices in here. I have gotten rid of all the old spices, and I'm in the process of putting fresh spices in here. I just picked up these whole nutmegs, and I'll be replacing the other ones and using this more often. But I thought it was very neat. It came with a little grater. Nothing better than fresh nutmeg. That should do it. And we're always looking for old antiques for the wagons, at least period looking. This might be from the 30s or 40s, but you never know. It would blend in right on the wagon. Alright, let's continue on. So I've got 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then that's the dry ingredients, and just mix it up a little bit. Just kind of get everything incorporated a little bit. Alright, the wet ingredients, 3 or 4 ripe bananas. I've got 2 eggs in here. I need 1/4 cup of melted butter. Trying to get all that out. Alright, then a teaspoon of vanilla. And by the way, I am making some homemade vanilla. Should be ready in another month or so. I'm excited to show you that and to put it in some dishes. Now just get that mashed up real good. It's not hard because the bananas are already soft. Just a matter of getting everything incorporated a little bit. That smells good. I know I put a little extra vanilla in it, but that's okay. And then just start putting in your flour mix a little bit. Now we're going to cook this for an hour at about 400 degrees. So you're going to have a cooking in a Dutch oven. For an hour you are going to replace the coals because you do want a good hot oven. But I've got a loaf pan here already sprayed. Got my oven heating up. This is a good winter recipe because baking it inside, your house smell like banana bread. And then we've always liked to, when it was still very warm, cut a slice and put some butter on it and let that melt in. Alright, so with that all mixed up, a cup of chopped pecans. Now I don't chop them up fine because we are out here on the trail, but you can chop it up finer if you want to. I typically just take the pecans and break them up a little bit, and for me that's chopped enough. Just put it in your loaf pan. Now one thing I have done in the past is use some of those mini loaf pans and bake up many loaves to give to friends. That makes a nice little gift for the holidays or other occasions. Or if you're having a party, you could have many loaves out for people to eat. Kind of have their own loaf of bread, banana bread. And that's it. And throw it in the oven, cook it up, and then when we take it out, I will have me some butter that I will spread on it and give it a try. All right, I have let this cool for about 10 minutes or so, and it's loose. As it cools, it will contract away from the pan if you got it sprayed well. See the steam still coming off. It's still nice and warm. Got a little crunch to it. See the nuts. Very nice. I just like a little pat of real butter on it. Let it melt in there a little bit. I think I'm going to put me another little pat. That way I get a little butter in the whole thing as it melts into the bread. Soft in the middle. I end up putting over a cup of pecans, but that's fine. I really like the pecans. Good for breakfast. Tomorrow morning, cut me a slice, heat up a little bit. Toaster oven would put a little butter on it. Let that melt in. What a good way to start the day off with the piece of banana bread. You can always freeze it. Let it cool really good. Wrap it up and stick it in your freezer. Good for probably a month or so. But if you got bananas going bad, don't throw them out. Cook you a loaf of bread. With or without nuts, walnuts, raisins. But give it a try. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video on the banana nut loaf. Banana bread is what we call it here on the ranch. Like I said, my mother's been cooking it since the late 60s, early 70s, whenever she got the cookbook from a neighbor. Give it a try. There's all kinds of variations you can do to it based on what you like. But the main thing, give it a try. And as I always like to say, shouldn't be knocking stuff, but I'm talking with my hands with this ringer. But anyhow, if you like this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. So help me get down the trail to that goal. Share it with some friends. Like it, and of course, ring the bell, and Mushy the Cowboy Cook will see you down the trail.